Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move down there shortly, but before I do that, I want to bring everyone's attention to the screen. We're going to have a brief 2-minute video just so the millions watching at home, as I like to say, can know everything a little bit about, scratch the surface of Brigadier General Charles McGee, and then we'll bring him down, and I'll come down and present the proclamation along with my colleagues.
I'm Charles Edward McGee, Air Force retired, and originally I was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1919. Tuskegee Airmen are black pilots, mechanics, and support people who, when our country declared war against Hitler, came forward and dispelled the biases and generalizations that because of the color of our skin we couldn't support our country in a technical area. Our task was to keep the air clear of German fighters that were destroying many of our bombers. You know, we thought we had enough guns on the B-17s and B-24s to protect them. That wasn't so, and that's why the escort work began. We also destroyed a lot of Germany's war-making potential on the ground. The Pittsburgh Courier came out and said, no, this is a double victory activity for black Americans, fighting against Hitler in Europe and also fighting against racism here at home. One thing personally, folks say, well, how did you face that? And I said, well, I grew up learning that, you treat others like you want to be treated. So important. And then realizing that the value lessons that sustained us are just as important for the young people today and what they face for America's future and preserving the freedoms we claim we all so much enjoy. Don't let the circumstances be an excuse for not achieving. We could have very easily, they don't like me, they don't want me, and gone off in the corner with our head bowed. That's not the American way.
General McGee, do you want to join me up here so we can serenade you properly? This is an emotional and a very humbling day for all of us here. Take your time, sir. And I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to give a special recognition to Yvonne McGee, who is General McGee. She reminded me to say youngest daughter.
Wow.
I also want to acknowledge a gentleman who is with General McGee. Is it Vincent Mickens, who arranged on both his 99th and 100th birthday to fly in a jet, which he's done for the last 2 years. And so I hope I can join on 101, but we'll see what happens. But want to thank you for being here. I also want to acknowledge the president of our school board, Ms. Shebra Evans, who is here. And we also have, sitting next to her is the president of my house, Michelle Jawando, who's here. And we have Sheriff Popkin, who's here as well, and our state's attorney, John McCarthy, who is also here. Appreciate it. We also have members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, the Iota Upsilon Lambda chapter, which is our Silver Spring, Montgomery County chapter that we are both members of, and in the greatest fraternity in the history of the world, by the way. 06, all right. Martin Luther King Jr., Thurgood Marshall, Charles Hamilton Houston, and Brigadier General Charles McGee are some of the folks in that fraternity that I have the honor of being in as well. We may be joined by our county executive at some point, and if so, I'll acknowledge him. But on the county council, we have the opportunity, we do this a lot, to give a lot of citations, recognizing many incredible people. But I dare say that today is going to rank among the highest honors that we have had as a body. And I say this on behalf of every one of my colleagues, and to honor you, Brigadier General McGee. And Councilmember Rice, did you I want to invite Councilmember Rice down, who is a former airman himself. He's going to say a few words as well. Our fraternity says that we are, first of all, servants of all, and we shall transcend all. And I know it's special. I think I speak for Craig and I, Councilmember Rice and I, as the two African-American members of this council in Black History Month this year, at this time in our country, to be able to stand here with you, sir, and honor all that you've done and meant for our nation, for everyone of every creed, race, religion, age, but particularly for us as African-Americans and African-American men, the excellence that you have demonstrated over the course of your career, both professionally and personally. I've had the deep honor of getting to know you as a younger man, knowing members of your family, Damona Strautmanis and Michael Strautmanis, and meeting other members of your family. So I've got to meet the man, the myth, and the legend. And I can tell you, every one of those people has had the highest integrity, has been a model for me, and you continue to inspire me, sir. So I just want to say, there's nothing we could say here today to honor you enough and thank you for what you went through on behalf of our country. And so thank you very much for being here. I'm going to invite Councilmember Rice. You can have a seat or stand, whatever you'd like, and he's going to say a few words as well.
I'm going to be very brief, and I really want to thank Councilmember Jawando for recognizing this great man. Brigadier General, let me just say thank you. Because as a young man growing up whose father served in Vietnam, who ably served his country, and who was able to dream about flying airplanes, on behalf of the United States of America, I say thank you. You forged the way and made it possible for young men like me to dream about doing the same things that you did. You forged that pathway, and that is something that you don't understand how it has impacted so many people and opened up so many opportunities. When I was down in Corpus Christi, Texas, flying A4s and A6s, I can tell you that folks knew and understood about the Tuskegee Airmen and what they did to make that possible for people like myself. And so for that, sir, not only are we deeply indebted for the service that you gave to our country, but for changing the paradigm with which I, as a young man who also went to University of Illinois, so big shoulders to stand upon. I'm really grateful for you, for all that you have done for all of the aviators who follow in your footsteps. So thank you, sir.
So we're going to present you with this proclamation. I should note that Brigadier General McGee recently celebrated his young 100th birthday. And I say, yeah, please, that deserves a round of applause. Councilmember Katz said, I hope I look that good when I'm 100. And I think we all share that sentiment. I know, I know. So I'm going to read this proclamation with Councilmember Rice. We will alternate. And then I would ask all my colleagues to come down and take a picture with the general here. The County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland issues this proclamation. Whereas on December 20th, 2019, Colonel Charles E. McGee received an honorary promotion to the rank of Brigadier General, a well-deserved recognition of his incredible service to our country.
And whereas Brigadier General McGee has the distinction of being the oldest living member of the 332nd Fighter Group of the famed Tuskegee Airmen, fondly nicknamed the Red Tails, and is a beloved resident of Montgomery County who recently celebrated his 100th birthday, and
whereas Brigadier General McGee was sworn into the enlisted reserve in October 1942, earned his silver wings as a single-engine pilot, and was commissioned second lieutenant on June 30, 1943, graduating at Tuskegee Army Airfield in Alabama in Class 43F. And
whereas Brigadier General McGee became a command pilot and accumulated more than 6,300 total hours flying fighter aircraft combat tours in 3 major military conflicts: Italy during World War II, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War. During his 30-year active duty career, Brigadier General McGee achieved a 3 warfighter mission total of 409 combat missions, one of the highest by an Air Force fighter pilot. And
Brigadier General McGee is the recipient of numerous awards and decorations, including the Legion of Merit with Oak Leaf Cluster, the Distinguished Flying Cross with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Bronze Star, the Air Medal with 25 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Army and Air Force Commendation Medals, the Presidential Unit Citation, the Korean Presidential Unit Citation, several campaign and service ribbons, and the Congressional Gold Medal, and recently the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby honors and salutes Brigadier General Charles E. McGee, and be it further resolved that the County Council thanks you for your lifelong dedication to service in keeping the residents of our country safe and for all that you overcame in the process. Signed this day, the 25th of February in the year 2020 by myself and all of my council colleagues. Please join me in giving a rounding sound of applause to General McGee. And I want to offer him the opportunity to say a few words.
Thank you isn't enough, but it's the words we use always to thank. But life has been a blessing for me. I often ask, why me, how me, and so on. I have not found the answer, but I do know that life has been led by the good Lord, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be here. But thank you so much for the recognition, and I receive it, but I am proud to stand for the more than 900 pilots and the more than 14,000 people that supported us when our country needed the help, and there are so many who said, you can't do it. That keeps me out of the rocking chair today, because that same message and the value lessons are good for the young people of today who are America's tomorrow. We need to stop telling them they can't do something and lead them in the direction that allow us very shortly to put a woman on the moon and somebody on Mars. I'm indeed grateful to stand for so many, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you.